A lot going on, man, in terms of follow the money, bro. A lot going on. Economy looking real shaky.
Hmm.
But still these numbers keep coming out. Now we're not gonna sit on this too long here, but it's just really interesting the gap between what is being reported and kind of what the let's call it more realistic numbers in terms of rates, in terms of GDP, in terms of unemployment, in terms of, those, I'll call them key economic metrics. But I'm no economist. All right. So I just think it's really interesting, man. I don't know if you've been, I do know. I know you've been paying attention. It's your field house. Um, but what's your take on where the economy is right now? Just a quick brief take here, more so out of curiosity, where the economy is right now and where we're, not necessarily a prediction, but just looking at if the trend doesn't change, right? What do we see ahead in terms of the winter of would you call it the winter of 2024? Because January is
Yes.
technically winter,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I guess so.
The
There,
north rises, winter returns.
there is a lot happening. There's a lot happening, and without diving into the numbers, because in all honesty, I actually try to stay away from these made up, these made up numbers in the
Oh,
economy that we get from the government and those places. But we all know, because we feel it, that we're in a bit of trouble, right? We're in a bit of turmoil in our economy right now. Um, Prediction wise, again, who knows? Because the Fed controls so much of, right, what happens. They print money, they make up rules, things change. Like, who knows? All I know is we're not in the greatest spot as an economy right now, and the things that people personally need to pay attention to is just their own personal household. Will the numbers flip around? Like, will this deficit slow down? Will we stop printing money and lending money and all those things? I highly doubt these things happen. What's the repercussion of that side? I mean, who knows? Again, who knows, right? Like, who knows how bad this goes or how bad they let it get? At the end of the day, all we can do is focus on our own individual lives. Do our families have what we need? Do we have our financial cushions? Is our money safe relatively? Is it in a spot where we can access it? Are we putting it in good places that are going to either give us a return or give us some more security, or right things that we need? I think as we look at this like big macro picture, um, I think it's far beyond us really being able to help the situation or think of ways to help it. I think it just has to play out how it's going to play out. Nobody wants to see the proverbial plane crash, but I think if everyone can start building their own life rafts and getting their parachutes ready, I think some people will be saved, but it's
so
not looking great.
so it sounds like you're talking about fiefdom here, like Middle Earth type of Middle Ages type of mentality. It's the family crest or nothing, right? Make sure you harbor up the family crest. Get your own land. Get your own crops going. Get your own gold, your own silver. Get your own swordsmen, right?
None of these things are bad ideas at all. I don't know that. Again, it's because again, it's all about timing and how long you think this stuff occurs. But I
What's
think
up, Dana?
I think all those things are important. All those things that you name, it might not be let's get that done tomorrow or next year, but over the next 15 to 20-year period, absolutely. All those things you mentioned are going to be important. Like, we're going to need a better way to know where our food comes from. We're going to need to be able to have different skill sets of growing certain crops and being exposed to certain elements, right? Like learning how to do some things again. Yes,
Yeah,
fiat
yeah.
currency, right? Like over the next 2 decades, right? Like, guys, if we're talking to people in our age, then we're going to be actively operating in 2 decades. Like,
Right, right, right,
you know
right,
what I mean? So like it's actually a real thing that I think we
right.
just we just got to pay attention to. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into The Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.